he will take it in his lifetime. Okay, so that's State of the Nation, and don't forget that after now, Sammy Cyril is here, and the papers or the press for the day will also be highlighted. But for now, Prince Akparawa Prince Godwin Ntumude, PhD, political advisor to the governor. Good morning, Mr. Political Advisor.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Yes, still new.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
Let's start with it's been a while, and we know that politics also came in. Your party went into rerun, and sadly you didn't come out with anything. What's that?
Well, it was an exercise to exercise political missionaries. I don't think that the result was any surprise to any well-calculated politician. And so even the PDP itself would do apologies to how much minds might want to look at it. What is important is that ab initio, going into that game was what analysts would have said, well, just give it a try, just to fulfill all righteousness. But there was really no reason to so hope for anything that came out differently. Why? Because if you look at Ikonini Federal Constituency, the margin of vote was already 5-point-something thousand difference. And then the units that were declared for rerun, calculate their numbers, the vote allowed, available, total registered. And if you are a good student of Nigerian politics, voters apathy, the stress of economy, and everything now put together, you will have adjusted yourself by rolling into what you call real accredited, total accredited. It's always like 25, 30, 35%, vis-a-vis total registered voters. Now, if you look at that, then look at it that people had finished it with the election. They are back to their farms. They have traveled. They have gone here and there. So, real accredited voters would not be anything more than 25, 30%. In fact, 30% would be too much. Now, if you look at 30% of the entire vote within the units that were declared for the rerun, then you will see that it is impossible to manufacture vote that will beat a 5,000 margin. So, as far as we are concerned, there is none of us that felt, oh, magic will happen. There are times when you can expect miracle. There are things you don't need to, expect miracle. It is empirically obvious. So, if you come to it too, 4,000 something, again the same, within the context of units declared for rerun. It wasn't the entire local government. Units. Then do your arithmetical work on the units, total registered voters. Do your arithmetic on 30% total, what you call accredited voters, those who will likely come out to vote. And then you see that from it is already date on arrival. But, since it was a declaration by the court, the PDP had to obey it and, go there and fulfill all righteousness.
Okay, still on your party, PDP. Most of the people the PDP even went into election against were actually ex-PDP members. Did that also serve as a factor?
Yeah, you see, that's another problem. Every person in Akwa Ibom today who's in one party or the other was and possibly still a PDP member by faith and belief. But he may just be wearing another uniform. And so he had been within the PDP. He's still within the PDP. He had families, he had friends. He still has them, families and friends. So that's why we are saying it's a good development. So at the end of the day, whoever wins should not be seen as an enemy in the house. It should be warmly embraced. You know, no victor, no vanquish. He's still, left or right, he's still our own. He's still our brother. In fact, it is very likely at the end of the day, when they look at it, I have achieved what I wanted. Because some people are even still looking for what you call independent candidates to be able to stand election when they know that they are very popular, acceptable by the grassroots and the people, but hampered by the bureaucracy of political parties. Sometimes what happens within the political party, within the primary stage especially, may be a household matter left in the hands of, you know, the managers of the political party, the stakeholders, or one person. Whatever it is, so many things happen inside the bedroom called primaries. So a lot of persons are still arguing and praying for an opportunity where the independent candidacy will be allowed. So whatever it is, if you feel not comfortable with the bureaucracy within the house during primaries, and that forces you to step out, does not make you not a member of the family. So it means it is very possible for all of these our brothers and sisters who have made it to return to the house they know better. It is expected, and it can happen. It depends on how the house opens up, accepts the winning, accepts the victory, because some victory are very, very obvious. Very, very obvious.
Okay. Before I talk, you talk about primaries, but I think I should ask this one before we talk about as a political advisor who will also be working closely with your party. Are there regrets over the manner of previous primaries to which a lot of sentiments were placed above popularity and possibly qualification?
Well, there shall always be regrets in politics, especially the practices currently experienced in Nigerian democracy. Until we return to the era where party remains supreme, as in the days of Ogunleye, like in the days of
even the NRC, NRC.
When you had the likes of the father Itaito,
yes,
as the secretary of MPN with something in Calabar, 104 Golden Street. That used to be the headquarters in NPN in Calabar, and in the then Cross River State. At that time, party was supreme, and party had manifesto clearly spelled out, which makes their ideology different from UPN and whatever. So you now trust to a party based on their ideologies, their manifesto. If they are not for free education, they don't gamble about it at all. If they are not for agriculture, they don't gamble about it at all. And the governors who chosen cannot therefore go into free education or agriculture. The party will call you back. A time when a governor had not the opportunity of even choosing 2 commissioners, not knowing who will be a commissioner. party choose the governor, whom they know as a material. When they take him to the public, to the election, he will win others. So they look at the tie, they look at the antecedent, they look at everything, they look at everything that will be criticized, and be praised of him, and they take him for election. Those are the people who are present, and so will be all other candidates, senators, House of Reps, House of Assembly. Party chooses candidates to be able to win election, free and fair. Now, the party then chooses commissioners and ministers, the President of the Federal Republic. If he doesn't lobby seriously, he can get 1 or 2 ministerial slots. In that capacity, you see the Executive Council will be so robust, intellectually, infected, so that every person comes with the memo of his ministerial, arising from his ministerial responsibility, tailored to the organic symbol of the party, what the party believes in lines with its manifesto, and defends that memo stoutly with all the experience in him, with all the intellect, with all the professionalism, with all the sympathy for his party, because at the end of the day, parties will be judged by their manifesto vis-a-vis what is on ground. But unfortunately, we have not gotten there. We detoured from that and came to where the political party is now, we have at the federal level, leader of the party, at the state level, leader of the party, governor, president, leader of the party. The president can change the chairman of the party 3 times in a year. Wow.
It was not heard of.
Nowhere. It is the party chairman
that can change
the president. But the president changes to whoever. Even the almighty trade unionist couldn't stand it. So in that capacity, my dear, what is available is at the whims and caprice of that person who calls the
shots.
The shots.
Okay, so now as a political advisor to the governor of Akwa Ibom State, what are those inputs you have made towards giving the party, your party, more voice in the choice of future candidates?
Well, thank you very much. My duty is not to be a political advisor to PDP.
But I mean the governor, because as the leader, remember, as the leader,
governor of Akwa Ibom cannot really single-handedly influence what happens at the headquarters. And in any case, until when PDP wins national election, right now the only party and government that can influence the political setting in Nigeria is the APC. Ahmed Tinubu, His Excellency the President, has a right to give a new direction on how politics will henceforth be played in Nigeria. And then the National Assembly will now, with all authority, cause a change of the Constitution, insert reasonable clauses, practical clauses, current dimensional clauses that at the end of the day will guide INEC in how primaries are conducted and how elections are conducted. My focus now is to ensure that by the grace of God I supply ready empirical tools of advancement, tools of empowerment, tools of inclusiveness, tools of brotherhood, and tools of empowerment that leads to, ultimately, to the success of Arise Agenda, which means Pastor Omar Baseno in Akwa Ibom State. For now, that's my duty.
Okay.
And when I supply these tools, it helps him to take informed decisions, so that at the end of the day, his micro and macro programs in terms of public policy and executive statements will be such that will be admitted by the people, will be people-centered, will ignite growth, ignite development, ignite empowerment, ignite inclusiveness, and the people's buy-in to governance.
Okay, if you're just joining us, we'll just take a very short break, but you can join us on www.facebook.com/AKBC Radio and TV on Facebook, so that you can follow this conversation. We'll just take a very short break. Remember, the political advisor to the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Dr. Godwin Tugude, is my studio guest, and in 10 or so minutes we'll be opening the phone lines for you to have ask whatever question you want to ask. But just before then, this quick break.
Everything you go through in life is preparing you for your next assignment. My father was a police officer, so I lived in the barracks. A barracks like a mini in Nigeria, you find everybody there. My dad's salary, of course, couldn't meet the family income, so I had to sell soft drinks for my mother so that we can make up the family income. I used to take soft drinks from our home and I'll go to the airport and sell. It was fun. I didn't know I was going to ever get into hotel business. So eventually, my coke hawking helped me later in life when I started running my hotel. Those little things you did became building blocks for my later days in life. And you know what? My house was built on the same street I used to go through to hawk. And so everybody that saw me hawk these soft drinks for my mother, when I bought a land there and built my house, all of those people were still alive. It's like, some of them had to breed their children. Look at me mentor these kids. Today, when I drive around the streets, sometimes you find people sell and you stop by. I just remember, it used to be like this. That hawking has helped me today to be able to serve the people. Accept the things you can't change and change the things you can, and ensure that you just have the fear of God in you. I think the only person that can stop you from achieving what God has set out for you is you.
Akwa Ibom is rising.
Welcome back. It's still State of the Nation, and we are streaming live on YouTube, on Facebook, AKBC Radio and TV. The link is already there. You can join us and then join the conversation. Akparawa Dr. Ntude Godwin, PhD. Okay, the political advisor to the governor of Akwa Ibom State, is my studio guest, and we are looking at issues and the way they should be. The government of Pastor Umono. Very recently, sir, thanks for staying with me. Very recently, the governor came under some attacks, and it came from even people who are supposed to be part of the processes when it comes to the sharing of palliatives, and we heard. And then it also came, thank God, the Senate President also came out to apologize on the 30 billion naira given by the they said the federal government has given state governors. But I will also ask, as you are answering that question, talk about the local government. We keep seeing bogus amount of money, some 300 and something million, some 400, that these monies actually come to local government. But when you go to the local government areas, they don't look like people who have seen this kind of money.
Well, I think, first of all, I don't know the attacks that came on the governor. If it is on palliatives.
Somebody said Moano is in soup for I don't know. I felt it.
Well, bad news
Spreads.
make news. No matter how good you are, in fact, the better you are, the more humongous your petitions will be. Governor Abe said so. If I travel and come back and you don't have a basket full of petitions, it means I've not done much. Because to be able to govern and transform and do creative development, you must step on toes. And how many toes you step will revolve and come in with petitions. So, but I believe that true to conscious thinking, that the man, Pastor Umoba Sieno, has proven himself as a decent, conscience-based leader who has the minds of the entire Akwa Ibom people at heart and sleeps not to take care of them. Conscience is very important, because without conscience you cannot be compassionate. And so for now, the programs, the activities of Pastor Umoba Sieno cannot be faulted in terms of deliveries, except for the fact that the kind of turbulent economic environment that we now have is such a threat to every programs, every plans, every activities and budget. So that every night, whatever you planned yesterday to execute today, you must waste today again to think of how to recalibrate, renegotiate, revalidate, and all of that, so that you can come up with what can be realistic. Because it's no more awarding contract that cannot be executed because of the realities of time. So to such a stage, if care is not taken, if you are not a balanced man, a mature man like Pastor Umoba Sieno, you plunk yourself into calamities, terms of very wrong policies, wrong decisions, or decisions that cannot stand the test of time, contracts that cannot be executed, policies that cannot be implemented. So there's a whole lot of back to school, school of thoughts, school of research, school of self-examination, school of compare and contrast, and all of that, which we must appreciate can truncate the free flow of leadership in line with his Arise agenda. That you must excuse him. That one is a natural occurrence which the law of economics and management allows for jettisoning. If it was in the high sea, you could jettison all the containers and you don't pay no penalty on them. So, but for what he has done so far, the way he has conducted himself, it will be very difficult for anybody to lose hope that he has a governor. He has a governor. For the issue of 30 billion, I am happy, like you said. Even in the church last Sunday, he did say that he would not even go to war with the Senate president. He still respects him. He still values him as a good citizen, a true son of Akwa Ibom State, in that privileged position, that nobody should pick on him wrongly, because he will not. Why? In his privileged position, it probably means he is prophesying, he has dreamt, or he has seen something, or has been privy to a discussion by the president and called on the church to pray that this 30 billion should come. That's what he said in the church. Can you imagine how classically decent that gentleman can be? Others would have said, oh my God, so abusive languages, or call the people to be at war with the Senate president. thank God, his posture came through. The governors forum rose and went to the Senate president to take on him, because that indictment can cause them inconveniences in their local states. And the Senate president openly retracted the statement and apologized. Those who were now taking on the governor that is in soup and so on and so forth, where are they now to also apologize to the governor that please, we attempted to indict you on things that were not factual. However, that is politics, that is leadership. You must allow room for those kind of persons. Now, on the issue of local government, my dear brother, it is important to state categorically that local government is a third tier of government, but constitutionally within the control of states. Now, in Akwa Ibom State, there are very many public servants and civil servants who are in the
Local
government
Service
Commission. There are very many disparities between the number that is in Itu and Itu origin. Eket, Ikolikpele, Ibono, Itu, Urwan, Uyo. And in Uyo, you have such a humongous number, because every public servant, permanent secretary, commissioner, chairman of board, political SSA, and whatever, that want his wife, his sisters, his relatives to work in Uyo. So, in Uyo local government alone, the emolument can consume 2 times their own allocation, leaving them with nothing to go home with.
Oh, okay.
Therefore, the government, in its wisdom, to say, since you have what you call joint account, first and foremost, please be your brother's keepers. Ensure that first, the totality of the civil servant salaries and emoluments in the local government across the 31 local government is summarized to be SYZ. This SYZ is first of all pulled out
from the lump sum.
So that everywhere you will have salaries and allowances to the extent it has been captured and provided for, but majorly salary paid across board. Otherwise, some local government will not be able to pay. It is after you have taken out all of that, then Uyo is help. Uyo is now help. Then whatever is left is now divided in the proportion that your local government area on deserves, in terms of population, in terms of whatever. There are indicators that are captured to make you have what you have to have. Now, so therefore, I can say that in Akwa Ibom State, when we talk of local government, we must go to, maybe this our formula has been captured by many other states. There is hardly any local government that is doing so much, because it means that it is still not enough. We should be able to say, look at Ogun State, look at Kaduna, look at Cross River, see what the local government are doing. Oh my God, they build flyover. Before you can now question that your own is not building, there must be a case study, and in this case study, one of the items, one of the tools must be held constant. So hold a particular local government in Nigeria constant and use all others now to, assist from there. So what are we saying? The governors don't really have a hand really dealing with this matter. There are too many things that are in government. When you go into governance properly, sitting on the table, It is there and then you know the kind of juggling, the kind of manipulation, the kind of head beating that you have to go through to be able to deal with the situations that make themselves available. Insecurities, terrible things that happen that need the local government to solve. These are issues that may not be known to the public. And government is not supposed to tell their woes. Otherwise, the public will lose trust and go to die.
But Dr. Ntugude, let me take, I don't know, since you were appointed as a political advisor, have you taken a tour of all the local government areas?
Well, like I said, you must define my duty. That is the duty of the the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. Okay? The inputs I have to have has to come from, except there is an emergency, except there is something extra important. Then I go there and get involved to be able to supply the governor from that axis quality tools, quality information to help him take informed decisions. So for now, the local government, they are trying their best. They are trying their best, and they are being monitored by the commissioner vis-a-vis what they discuss in their joint account.
I'm asking this question because I know that not limited to Nsratai, Uyo, and the present in the local government caretaker committee chairman. You know, Uyo local government chairman commissioned some very gigantic projects, primary health center and so on. Then Nsratai has also done, I think it's Reket, Ona, I think Ona. And then just less than 3-4 months into governance, is that way Uma is the chairman, has graded multiple roles. So then my question would be, at what point did some people access funds to do this kind of jobs, whereas some council chairmen who have done 2 terms and are even have eased themselves into caretakership haven't really had anything to show for?
Well, I would not say so until there is an observers team, because many local governments have gotten something to show but probably did not have the time to commission. Some of them commissioned and not well publicized. Because I know that in Uruan now, my chairman is undertaking grading of central, southern and northern Uruan roads. Many of them. Yeah, I know. And I know that during his last days in the, he commissioned some classrooms and I think renovated health centers. He did some few things, and within what is available. So I know Una called for commissioning, and many other local government. Some of them build these things, but their publicity may be weak.
Okay.
Some of them have something to show. There's no way you will sit down and see your colleague do this and you don't do that. Again, there are some local governments that have some money more than others, depending on your demography. So many things add up. Your population, your this, your that, and so on. So, but this is not to excuse on their performance. They must perform. Because, look, take for example, the Arise agenda is more of local government based, grassroots based, rural areas. And so the local government must live up to expectation. I believe and pray that while I'm saying they are performing, wherever somebody has a cogent, well-refined reason to accuse a particular local government, and is referred to the House of Assembly or the Commissioner for Local Government, and he is found not to have applied himself appropriately with all propriety to the money he has received, I'm sure the local government service commission, the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, and the House of Assembly are always available to take on such people and question them. And I would say that such people should be channeled to such areas for, search and scrutiny. But we would want all local government to work assiduously to aid and support their RISE agenda. Because His Excellency is here, prepared to cut down costs. Prepared to, but right now, can you imagine what is the current cost of asphalt? Asphalt now. A thing of 850 naira now going over 25,000-30,000 per ton. That right now Akamba has just issued a release to start from March that their prices have changed again by another 56% when they have just changed 1 month ago. 56% from 1st of March. So when you see a governor awarding a 13 point or 16 point something kilometer of road now, in fact, respect that man because it takes a heart to approve the money under FGPC.
So I also ask, permit my ignorance. That will also mean that variation will be coming every 2 days.
That is what it is. That's what I'm saying. You take a decision today to go to construct this center table. By the time you come out to award
the contract,
the contract, you are taken back.
You have done the
Please go back to the drawing board and review, because plywood now that was 5,000 is now 9,000. Can you imagine cement? Take a clear example. That one is available to every human being. What was cement yesterday? What is cement today? And so you want to build a house. So these are the things that are truncating the leadership in the pattern that would have meant well to the ordinary citizen. Sometimes the ordinary citizen may not be able to see, because even the leader himself is having problem with himself.
Okay, we'll start the conversation. The number is on the screen, so you can ask questions. But Dr. Ntugude, political advisor, we also see how proactive Governor Moeno is. But we want to ask, the proactiveness, does it not alter his plans? I'm asking this because, number one, somebody criticized the government of neglecting certain part of Akwa Ibom State, talking about there's a road he just awarded contract along Isionu, and the governor went there and initiated the contract. That was because he was criticized. That was because it was a constructive criticism. And 2 days back, we also heard that the governor, somebody drew the attention of the governor to the negligence of a certain area, and the governor awarded a contract for a primary health center. Beautiful. But I'm asking, do these things, some of them were not budgeted for, but because of love, the governor responds to either criticism or when his attention is drawn to? We've heard of several attentions being drawn and the governor responding with swiftness.
Well, I want to correct one critical impression that the governor can award a contract that is not in the budget. There are very many roads that are in the budget. Some are carried forward from previous administrations and budgets, to the extent that almost all bad roads within and outside had already been captured and are captured in the budget through submissions made possible by finders. Now, it is also important when the governor says that it is not a bad thing to criticize or voice out what is wrong or right. After all, government rules by the people's information.
Somebody please hold it there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good
Yes, please, your name and where you are calling us from.
My friend, I go on from there when it's on there. I think I'm going to go there. I think all the job when the not true when you job. Understand? Because everything we do, I took off the do everything we do, I think that's what you do for one. You make up the
Okay.
That means that the chairman is grading.
Yeah.
And the governor has re-awarded the Uruan Mbiakong road. You know, I mean, not re-awarded. He has mobilized the contractor, send it back to site. You know, so very soon the Uruan Mbiakong is going to be a thing of the past, and Biaya Itaipa Mbiakong Idu will be a thing of the past. That is government.
Hello.
You know.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Yeah, my name is Asuko, calling from Uyo.
Talk to us.
Yes, I want to thank your guest. He has spoken extensively and spoken much about the political capacity of the governor. But I want to bring a presentation, critical aspect. We understand that the inflow into the state is not commensurate to what has been coming in the past few years because of the currency fluctuation and other stuff. But one thing I want to bring to his attention is what is the government doing in terms of human development, human capital development, and of infrastructural development. But the people who drive that usage of that infrastructure are the human capital development. What is the government doing? I heard they constructed schools. How can Akwa Ibom indigenous compete with the rest of Lagos or with the rest of the in terms of computing and adding value to production, in the economy? It is quite critical. A lot of infrastructure, but we need to start looking at investment in the people. Number two, has the government had any database for the number of employed youth? Akwa Ibom has the highest number of inflow as a result of the production of crude oil. What is that money used for in developing the people? We need to have a database of number of people that are employed every month. That's how we know we are going to measure development. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
His response.
I want to appreciate the gentleman. Right now, the focus of Governor Pastor Mobasino is on agriculture and youth development because of the exigencies of the time. In fact, awarding all these 5-star contracts of roads are okay, part of governance, but his main focus now is on agriculture and youth development. You recall, he says he has acquired a site to build an industrial training hub for all those who have good mindset. What do you want to do as a youth? What do you want to achieve as a youth? What do you want to learn? He's going to create all of that hub there. He has already started with a late institution to train our corporals and other handmade people, and has prepared a good sum of money available that the moment they graduate, they be paid so that they can enhance their skill, their tool set, so that their skill can come out prominently. Now, for agriculture, he's asking even down to the units. Very soon, you are going to he's going to unfold how much he wants agriculture to be a business. Down to all the units, the 3,665 units in Akwa Ibom are going to be completely unit-based cooperative agriculture. He's going to unfold that. And that he believes that by the time he impacts both the villages to give the land, the youths in the environment, men and women, to plant even water leaf, pepper, whatever, but enhanced by government. At the end of the day, every person will be involved in a mechanized agriculture, which he will back up with tools, with machines, and things like that.
Does this have a time frame?
No. He's just coming back to do that. Two, he has established what we call bulk purchase agency, like what you used to have, like marketing board and all of that. He has enhanced these human beings that are extension workers to be fully trained and mobilized now, so that they will go around training the youths in all the farm outlets wherever it shall be. Now, the bulk purchase is only temporarily now to go out and buy things that can crash the value in the market. But the main business of that is to buy from all the farms whatever you produce at a reasonable fee, so that you'll be encouraged to make profit and go back to the farm. Not when you make your plantain, somebody will come and buy locally 200 and it doesn't make any meaning to you. Now the governor says, bring all of that plantain to the bulk purchase board. They will buy it at either 1,000, 2,000, as will be said. It will be measured. Now will be purchased in kilos, so that you can have 1 or 2,000, drastically different from 200 naira. And then you'll be encouraged to go back and plant more. Then the governor will now take these ones back to the market, and now the 5,000 that is a lump of plantain selling now will now be crashed to 2,500 or thereabout. That's what the government, that is to say agriculture, and agriculture employs a chunk of the human public. Our youths are going to be trained to go into it not as subsistence farmers. Then when the industrial hub is finished, then you will see the realization of actually engaging the people, because what it intends to do in the hub is to make all professionals to go own shops there, own points there. Then the agreement is, don't pay for that shop, but train 10, 20 people attached to you. At the end of that, whatever government has, you can see the living example. All the uniforms of the students that he has earmarked to give them uniform across the school, they are sewn by our local tailors. The shoes worn by community watch people, that shoe is made by our people here in Uyo. You can imagine 4,000 something to be produced by our people. The uniforms are made by our people. The school uniforms are made by our people. It is his direct instruction that nothing of that will go out to anywhere. So that's an encouragement to the people.
I think last week or so, Akwa Ibom Tailors Association designers, some of them came here and said that contract, they are not aware that they've not been incorporated into it, and it comprises of all the local tailors in Akwa Ibom State.
No, that cannot be true. I would take exception.
That's why except are here.
I can tell you that the shoes are made locally here. We can bring the person who's making the shoe. Let him come and say.
No, I'm talking about the uniforms now.
The uniforms, except it has not yet been given out.
Okay.
But the instruction of the governor is, because he was interested in making the school available. The next phase is the shoes of the students will be made available here to them. The school bags will be made available to them, and the uniform. Except the contract by the commissioner for the Ministry of Education has not yet been released out. But none of those materials will be sewn outside. It will be by themselves.
Doctor, I take you on this one. You are from the riverine area. Uruan, greater percentage of your people are fishermen. And that's the same thing that happens around the coastal areas. Oron, Mbo, Okobo. We are made to understand, and heavily so, that people from neighboring states buy tools for your fishermen, some of your men, and they fish, and these people go to the waters, to the seas, to buy those things from them. That's why the cost of seafoods have been really skyrocketed. Are you aware of this, and what have you done as a leader of thought?
In spite of whatever it is that we come to the press, certain policies of government need not be openly discussed.
You're right.
Because there are security
based. Are you aware of that?
His Excellency is aware.
Wow.
And I'm telling you that very soon you see that if you are a buyer, there will be a point in the beach that you stop.
You can't go beyond.
You can't go beyond that. So that our people will realize commensurate fee. Because when you take these print materials, call it wrapper, of 1,000 or 2,000, and then you penetrate the high creeks and go and give to those later human beings. They dance around you because to them you've given them a new cloth. And at the end of the day, when anybody goes there to buy fish, they say, no, this one is for item. This one is for okon. Already pre-made. And he buys at his own price. Because he's a friend of the family.
So let's take a call.
This is not business. So I don't want to discuss more on that. Okay. But it will soon be put on that check.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning. Oh, okay, we lost that caller. Okay, so let's talk about the economy. You have already said so much about the economy, that the dollar has become something else. We don't know what the dollar will be tomorrow. Yesterday I went to buy beverages and I ended up buying only toothpaste. It was not what took me to the supermarket because I couldn't just get water. I actually had a price that I saw when I was going to work, but on my way back it had changed. What have governors done to help the economy? Now it's, we keep talking about APC, but let us forget that when we go down the stream, we have other what can states do? What have states done to help shore up the economy?
Well, let me say this. The only way it is, let me say that with sympathy, I really appreciate the problems in the market. In the supermarket, it is a shock that you enter the supermarket that used to be full of goods. All the shelves are empty. What is that pointing to? That it will soon shut down. What of the staff that were working there? What of some of the bills they used to pay to government? There are too many things that are happening. So for us, the only way is for us to go back to production. If we don't produce, there is no way for us. Two things must happen. This federal government must unbundle leadership control. We must look at the kind of democracy we are practicing here, and it doesn't mean anything. Thank God they are now talking about local community policies, that Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and anybody can run their own police. So we can change.
It's not even made a law.
No, it has to be made, because these are things that will help us to engage more of our people and do this. I'm trying to look at it from the context of true democracy, true federalism. Untie the power that is in Abuja and release many of those things so that states can be free, regions can be free to engage themselves and think less of federal. That as long as you keep all the money in Abuja and distribute it every month, sir, laziness and all of that. It takes only a godly driven governor to think of an all-encompassing legacies to leave behind. So what am I saying? If governors are allowed to create their own money, develop their own money, and pay certain sum to the federal, every governor will look for how to harness the potentials that are inherent in their states. Now that Governor Umobasieno is thinking of this en masse involvement in agriculture, let's pray that the human element and the government policies will go together. By the time this boom comes in, and then you have this bulk purchase assembly, then you know that we can be exporting many of our goods. until we are able to produce and feed ourselves sufficiently and then export. There is no way to crash the naira better, because the naira that is happening today with dollars is man-made. It is man-made because the former government, through the governor of the central bank, completely sold the dollars to private one or two individuals at government rate, without nothing, no feeling of Form A, no feeling of Form M, nothing. And they took this money and hid them in a vault. Today, human beings have more dollars than 2 combined central banks in Nigeria. And every day, they pull out 2,000 or 1,000 into the market. And the interplay of demand and supply crashes what you see in the morning, a new price, in the evening, a new price. Don't forget, there are still Nigerians who are staying somewhere, who have humongous access to naira and want to change it at any rate. So whatever you bring forth, they say any amount. In fact, if you say 2005, they can still buy. Privileged Nigerians somewhere. So what we now see is man-made. We must then come back and reject overemphasis on the naira for anything. Produce. We have so much to produce in Akwa Ibom. We have so much to produce in states. When these states can look back and concentrate that their development, their signature projects, their road construction, human empowerment, whatever will come from their resources created by them, so they will look inward. And let's pray that we do our agriculture, because production is the only answer. And agriculture stands the very best alternative for now, because it's easy, it's cheaper, we have all the land, and the land is fertile. It needs little or less fertilizer. And then the human beings that will work in the farm don't need to go to Russia for training. Just bring them into the farm. Put extension workers under 2 minutes. They know how to produce and they know how to plant. Okay. So if we do that, Nigeria will be better. And I believe in Akwa Ibom. I pray that His Excellency's exploit now into agriculture and youth training, youth development, which is capacity building, will yield fruit. If these two things are done by Pastor Mabasino, I'm telling you, it is more than enough for Akwa Ibom development.
But seeing the body language of Mr. President, you remember he has moved certain parts of Central Bank of Nigeria back to Lagos. He has also moved the Federal Airport Authority, certain departments to Lagos. And we are also aware that there are so many, even NAFDAC, or no, I think there's this other agency that he has also moved to Lagos. With the body language of Mr. President, do you see true federalism coming to play before the end of his term?
I think he should do that. But let us say this. In America, the center of commerce and business, where money is made and produced for the nation, is in New York.
New York, yes.
It's not Washington, D.C.
Not Washington.
Washington, D.C. is administrative headquarters, capital. But super business, money,
almost every
banks,
every big country has economic capital. And
so I think that it was wrong for us to move administrative headquarters of Nigeria to Abuja and move the economic capital to a barren land, to a desert. Whereas wherever these things happen, you must see a seashore, you must see the wharf, you must see the port, because there is trading. So I think what the man, His Excellency the President, is doing, there are quite some sense in it, and we must help him succeed. It's not everything that we criticize up in issue the moment it happens. There will be some intrinsic revelations that will come thereafter. There is no reason why Lagos should completely be jettisoned and forgotten about when it has a wharf, when it has the port. And if you look at businessmen that are still in Lagos, they are not in Abuja.
They have not moved.
So those things going as economic based, germinating points, I don't mind them.
Okay, let's see if we can take this call. Hello.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
My name is John. I really enjoyed your discussion this morning.
Thank you,
And
Ben.
also the response from your guest.
Yeah, it's an interviewer's delight.
Okay, so he spoke about the resource investment from the governor through the Arise agenda. And if you look at what is happening across board, I think Akwa Ibom is supposed to be at the top of all the states in Nigeria because of the level of allocation that comes into the state. But my question is this: because of unscrupulous investment by across some of the local governments, the people are not feeling the investment the government is implementing. Number one, I want to find out from him what is the governor's directive in terms of monitoring local government chairman that don't invest the resources that have been allocated to them. Number two is, we heard that most of these local government chairmen, if you check out their salary, it is not even enough for them to build a hotel or even build 4-story building. But at the end of the tenure, you see these people lavishing around. Where did they get this money from? So what is the governor doing? Number two, I want to ask again. The state need to start publishing the budget of all across the local government for the public to see. This is a universal, acceptable strategy by World Bank, so that we can access this through the internet, just like Lagos State. If you go into the Lagos State website, you will see all the allocation and money spent. You need to follow the money, because if you don't properly inject this investment in the local government, the people will not feed it. Then number three, at the government,
This is the sixth question.
Misuse funds. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Well, thank God. Just yesterday, the local government commissioner, I think he's gotten a directive. He told me that there's a directive for him to go with some select team. He told me what the composition will be, including the youths, the youth SA on youth, to go from local government to local government, have a chat with the paramount ruler, the clan heads, the youths, and find out how well the local government has fared. And then from there, go have a talk with the local government chairman and his cabinet to be able to then inspect what they have done. I think if that exercise commences, which I know it will soon, there will be a report thereafter. Two, I want to still emphasize the fact that His Excellency has, as at today, been one of the most transparent governor. His budget is online, and whatever he does, we hear every day FGPC, because he wants to be sure that every contract awarded, every contract revalidated goes through FGPC. And because of that, there is transparency. It is a people's program, and therefore it has a direct bearing with what is the reality of prices and modern pricing